Hey everyone, it's Jake at Jake's Metal Chat. Hope you're all well and welcome. As you can see by the title, well, I've since surpassed this number, and I can't thank you guys enough for just watching my videos, showing me all the support. And with that, I've reached 800 subscribers. I've since surpassed the 808, but still, I thought as Sean the Beast and Rocket Metal Plus, Johnny Mac, did a contest video as well as others within the VC. I thought I'd do a contest video for you guys for showing me all the support. And with that, you will get to win 3 CDs, 2 of which are from the same band. So that is Morgorgy from Birmingham. And I got these when I saw them in 2013 at the Griffin. And I heard them when I got back from there like the next day, and yeah, really great stuff here, but I haven't put them on in a while, so I thought I'll put them in this contest, and whoever the lucky winner is, show them the same amount of love I did. So here we are, more Gorgy with Murder Most Foul and The River and I. Great melodic death metal right here. Got some keyboards in there, quite blackened as well, so that is your thing. You like melodic, blackened death metal, definitely your thing. So more Gorgy. Gonna move something over here. And the third CD is from a band from the East of England, atmospheric black metal, one of my favorites, or my all-time favorite black metal band from here in the UK, The Infernal Sea with a Great Mortality. Already had this, thinking I didn't, got Black City Records, and looked, I was like, okay, I already got it because I bought it from them when I saw them when I think like the first or second time I saw them live. So again, whoever you are out there, the lucky winner, you will get this. Awesome atmospheric black metal with the Infernal Sea and the Great Mortality. And the other one is I don't have it with me at the moment, but I will be picking it up when I'm next there, and I will be getting a voucher for you to use either at the store, at the shop, or online for Black City Records. So whatever you're buying, you can use that to basically get half off that purchase. So like if you bought like 6 records, it will basically, take half off of what the price would be. And yeah, a nice little gift voucher for you guys to use. So the 3 CDs here and the voucher, which I will show in a update to let you know how the contest is going and how many of you have entered. And without further ado, let's crack on with it. I got 7 questions for you to answer, and yes, the first one is, name the first album you ever bought. So that can be when you got pocket money from your parents, or paycheck from your first job, birthday money, Christmas money, whichever. And it has to be the first album you bought. And I am going to go with this, Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. First album I ever bought. First album I heard all the way through. First song I ever heard is from this album, Can I Play With Madness? And then one of my other favorites became The Evil That Men Do. And of course, hearing Run to the Hills, The Trooper, uh, Number of the Beast, and Fear of the Dark, and you know, all those great songs from those great albums like Number of the Beast, Fear of the Dark, Somewhere in Time, but this was the first one for me, and it will continue to be my favorite of theirs. But yeah, the first one I ever got, first one I ever bought, Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, just a fantastic new wave of British heavy metal right there. Just excellent stuff. Question 2 is, what's an album or albums you love that most people should know about? So you can pick as many as you want here. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I went with, let's see how many I got here. Yeah, 5. So I'm going to show you 5. So I'm going to go with one from 2023. And it's a band that 2022, sorry. And it's an Italian progressive technical death metal band, quite thrashy as well. Well, progressive technical thrash death, with Miscreant and Convergence. Very just insanely good. You got cynic style riffage like and melodic parts. You got some pestilence mixed in there, some atheist, and speaking of pestilence, the vocalist has Martin Van Drunen style vocals, and it definitely fits the style of this band. Really, really great band right here. And if you've not checked them out, I do highly recommend them. Miscreant and Convergence. Excellent, excellent stuff. Yet to see in live, but when I do, I'm not going to hesitate. And whoever they're with, buying that ticket, I'm watching these guys. Next one is a band I saw with Bloodstock, and you can probably tell by my voice, it's getting there. And yeah, these guys just absolutely nailed it. And yes, that is pun intended because I'm talking about Nail Bomb with Point Blank. Just brilliant, brilliant. It's like a mixture of thrash and industrial and some punk mixed in there. One song in the song Cockroaches, as you know, brilliant song. Same with Wasting Away. There's so many great songs on there. They got Exploitation, which is a doom song, because the Cockroaches riff is very black metal, but not very Black Sabbath style. That's what, you know. So they got that mix of Black Sabbath, punk, and thrash and industrial, and they just do so well with this. Hearing this live was just like a lot of us who never got to see him back in 1995 at Dynamo. If you were there, then lucky you, you got to see that. And obviously, this was the project formed by Max Cavalier and Alex Newport, of course, of Fudge Tunnel. And if you've not heard this album yet, do so. If you love that mix of Black Sabbath style riff, especially with of Cockroaches and the thrashier, the more thrashier stuff and industrial stuff, this is definitely for you. If you like all three, this is an album for you. Nail Bomb, Point Blank. I know there's a lot of people in the VC that know who they are, but there's going to be someone like, I don't know that album. I didn't know the last band. I'm going to go check them out. And I'll have them all down there below for you to listen to. Next one is a band from Sweden called Dysentery. Or Dysentery. This came out in 1993. So there's a debut called Into Eternity. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. I was listening to this yesterday when I was going to get my undercut retrimmed, and just forgot how good this is. And of course, this would have been an album that got overlooked because a lot of albums came out in '93. Got the nice little CD there, and but yeah, definitely an album that people should know if you love your death metal, specifically old school. This is an album that a lot of people should know if you love your Swedish death metal. I mean, I don't think this one had HM2, but I think the one after that did. There you go. So we got two of the band members there. Two of the band members there. The artwork there. Some those who worked on it. And of course the lyrics. I like when books do that, like you just got like the whole logo of the band and lyrics. But yeah, this is definitely a band worth your time. Because there was quite a few Swedish bands that never did the HM2. And I think there is a bit of HM2 in this, but I think you're going to hear it more on the second album. But yeah, Into Eternity by Dysentery. By Dysentery. Check this out if you are more into the old school death metal. And this one, everyone's going to know this one here. I've spoken about this already before, and one of my all-time favorite death metal albums. It's Nocturnus and the Key. One of the first bands in death metal to use keyboards, and I think they started that trend. Yeah, sci-fi death metal right here. And this album from start to finish is just completely fucking insane. But an album that I know some of you who we all know each other within the VC, we've all met each other. Everyone's going to know this one, but for any of you newcomers, this is one that you need to listen to and one that you should definitely get for your collection. Nocturnus and the Key, brilliant, brilliant stuff. The keyboard and into that just gives it a whole nother level. And it was completely different for death metal, you know, hearing keyboards in an extreme genre such as death metal is like how? It's like you're thinking it shouldn't have worked, but it does. And the last one has spoken about this as well. And I know, again, a lot of us within the VC know this, but for anyone that wants something heavy and crushing and, you know, face pounding, look no further than Baphomet, the Dead Shower Inherit. This is so balls to the wall, skull crushing death metal. You know, hit that bass in there is just chunky as hell. The guitars, the drumming, the vocals, just all put together. You just got this absolute beast of an album. Of course, got the guys there as well on stage, and then sorry, cover one of them. There we go, and then of course there. But yeah, definitely an album that more people should know about because there are some really great crushing death metal albums out now, but there was a lot back in the day, and this from 1992, crushing death metal from 1992. Of course, this would have been overlooked because a lot of other death metal albums were coming out the same year as this, but definitely this one. Do check it out. Baphomet, the Dead Shall Inherit. Just need I say more? Need I say more? Just go and listen to it. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so the third question is, just to calm down a little bit from that, is there any gigs or festivals you'd like to go to this year that are basically any festivals that are still going on at the moment? And is there any that you're planning on going to next year? So any gigs you're planning on going to next year? So next year for me, obviously I'm going to Bloodstock again. Um, gig wise, there's a few. I can't remember half of the ones that I'm doing now. I think one of them is going to be Epica, and try to remember what else gigs that are going on. But festival wise, I'm obviously going to be doing Bloodstock, Birmingham. I'm hoping to try and do Hellfest next year, maybe Killtown in Denmark. Um, Summer Breeze would be a really good one to do. Grass Pop, definitely Grass Pop. Um, yeah, that's some of the festivals I'm hoping to do next year, planning to do. If I can fit them in, sometimes I can't, fit a lot of festivals in, but I'm definitely doing Bloodstock and Birmingham. For gigs this year, so I'm doing Birmingham again this year. Glastonbury because I'm playing it with my band Oscaria. And then after that, I'm seeing Atheist, which is literally the day after. So can't wait for that. Blood Incantation, I'm going to this year. Conan. So yeah, quite a few gigs. That's just a few of the gigs that I'm doing and the last few festivals that I'm doing. Well, Birmingham's the last full festival I'm doing. Glastonbury is pretty much a all dayer, but still, I'm going to count it. Um, yeah, so yeah, got some lined up. Probably gonna have more of an idea when I next do an update for this. But so yeah, that's just a few that I have coming up for this year and also next year. So, question four. So I know there's a lot of people out there that watch a lot of the metal YouTubers here, such as myself, Mark G with a C, Liam the Death Doom Metalhead, Melanie Loves Death Metal, Rocket Metal Plus, Sean the Beast, and so many of them to name. There's so many of us. So, but apart from watching them, what are the videos and other channels you love to watch on here? So that can be a video series, even from someone within the VC, or it can be someone from the horror community, true crime community, whatever else you're into, whoever that channel is, and the video series you like from someone within the VC. What is it? So for me, video wise, my favorite series, and it's no question, it's no surprise that I've spoken about HN2 a lot and Mark G with a C. Of course, his channel is now called The Bowels of Retribution. He did a series. He's still doing this series because he seems to have a lot more HM2 bands called The Buzzsaw is the Law. And I found bands I'm like, I don't know this band, but I'm going to check them out. And yeah, I know this band because I've seen them live, like Hellsworn, for example. We mentioned Hellsworn, who I've seen a couple of times before, and have their EP somewhere in my mountain of CDs, which I need to re-alphabetize because it's a bit of a mess in there at the moment. But definitely that series. Love that series. And love his other videos as well. But in terms of what I love most to hear in death metal, that HM2, that glorious HM2 soap death metal, not just from Sweden, but also from here in the UK, America, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, all across Europe, and wherever you can find it in the world. Like you hear HM2 from somewhere, so never thought it'd be from there, but there you go. So that's one of my favorite video series from him. In terms of a non-metal YouTube channel that I love, and I found out about him in 2021, there, thereabouts, around October, and that is Mr. Ballin, who, when you watch his videos, you can tell he's a gifted storyteller. He just sucks you in. And the first one I ever watched is when it was about a young woman who came back to her home in France to stay with her parents. She just did her first year of uni. Used to go to this woods a lot, and then she stopped going there because she was basically being followed by some figure with a bell. And it really draws you in. I was like, well, holy shit, this is so good. Because the other ones I'm going to mention, Let's Read does narrations. Same with Mr. Nightmare and Lazy Masquerade. And obviously with his videos, I'll put their channels down there and you can have a watch for yourself if you love that sort of content. But Mr. Ballin is a gifted storyteller. He definitely knows how to suck you in. And there's been a lot where I'm just like totally like creeped out, like, okay, that's really creeped me out, or okay, that's really messing with my head. It's making you think because you get that twist. Like when that twist comes, you're like, well, damn, that's one hell of a good twist. And some that might get you really emotional, but he just knows how to draw you in. And it'll be in the description below. Go check him out, show him some love. And of course, Mark G with a C. And of course, I mentioned Liam the Death Doom Metalhead, Sean, and Johnny Mac. All those guys, description below. Go check him out. And yeah, just Mr. Ballin is, if you love stuff that's going to suck you in and you're literally going to listen, you're going to listen. Mr. Ballin is definitely one for you. So, question 5 is if you could pick your favorite releases from any genre of metal or other genre of music you listen to, it's like, what would they be and why? So, if you were to pick your favorite ones from any genre, what would they be? So, I went with these three because the, there's so many I could have gone for, but I went with these. So, the first one I'm going to go with, and I'm going to go with a folk release. They're from Sweden. It's the new album by Ye Banished Privateers. Cool. Let me just read this. Till the sea shall give up her dead. And Yeah, the new one from this year, absolutely brilliant stuff. I know all the guys personally that have played on this album. There's probably a couple that I don't know, but the ones I have met, really nice. And the reason I went with this is because it was just a phenomenal album, and the last albums were also phenomenal. And their music's is they got like really good bouncy fun moments. They got some really like sort of metal moments as well, because quite a few of them are metalheads. And some of the songs are quite emotional when you try to sing to them as well. And you know, mates together because these guys have been a band for 15 years. And obviously, just seeing that live when I saw them at Castle Fest and before that as well, just yeah, love these guys to pieces. Anyone watching this right now, I love you guys. Love this album. Well done for making such a brilliant album, and I'm also for because during lockdown, a bunch of us found out about these guys. Some of we knew who they were, but I found out about them over lockdown, and the song was First Night Back in Port, and then they did the drunken rehearsals for was on basically here Zoom, had a Zoom, and pretty much did a live stream from YouTube if anyone was around for those. So this is a band I definitely thank for basically helping not just me but a bunch of others as well. But yeah, this album, I heard it, I was just like when the song Mates Together came on because I heard it before this album was even released. It was released as a single, and we're all mates together, you know, through stormy weather, through gentle breeze and over raging seas. These guys have been 15 years of privateer. And of course, I just said some of the song, but might have mixed it up a little bit in the lyrics there. But yeah, definitely an album I highly recommend. And of course, the other releases too. Next one. Heard these guys, heard their first album, their debut. But I went with this one because it's just, I mean, as much as I love Left Hand Path, this one just brought a whole nother level to the songwriting, to the playing, and it's much more aggressive. And that is Clandestine by Entombed. Just a phenomenal album. Of course, that glorious HM2. I just have a bit of a drink as my throat is getting dry. Um, that's all out. But an album, excuse me, that yeah, just I remember when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Now they put it on again like a few weeks or so back, around months actually now, quite several months back at the gym. Just had the whole album playing when I was doing tire flipping, and yeah, it got me going because it's an album that gets you going, and that's one of the reasons why I picked it because it's an album that will literally just get you either just headbanging to it or for a walk or a gym workout, whichever. Definitely, definitely an album that I would recommend to anyone who's a fan of Swedish death metal and just death metal in general, but more old school death metal. And the whole reason why I wanted to play Swedish style death metal in the first place and why I bought HM2 is because these guys, Dismember, Grave, you know, wouldn't have known what it was unless I heard it first from one of these bands. But definitely an album worth your time. This came out, of course, 1991. Entombed Clandestine. Last one, and of course, I spoke about him on my Metal Vault episode. Spoke about Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. Of course, I'm going back to where he all started. Of course, I'm talking about the man himself, Ozzy Osbourne, and the band Black Sabbath with Master of Reality. And the reason I picked this is because I was with my mate Chris, We were going to see them on the End Tour in 2017, and it was this album, the first album, and Paranoid that I was listening to on the way there, and we just rocked up to Birmingham just as this was finishing, and it was just a great memory. It's a great memory to have, like listening to this while going to see him. And of course, the first song I heard from this was Into the Void. Then there was Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, which is just a phenomenal song. But definitely an album. And one of my mates, Gareth, said that this is one of his absolute favorites, and I can see why. Got the CD there, got the guys there. And like I said before, Ozzy will be missed. And of course, he's not here anymore, but his legacy lives on. And his vocals on it are absolutely brilliant. Black Sabbath, a master of reality, and just yeah, I could have picked a debut, Paranoid, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. But I thought I'd go with this one because it was the last one I heard as soon as we were pulling up to Birmingham. Me and my mate going to see him. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Right. Question six is, besides listening to metal, because I know we all love to listen to our metal, what are the other things you are passionate about? So it can be another genre of music that you like, or it can be an activity you do. And well, for me, obviously, I've mentioned the gym. I love going to the gym. Obviously, putting on music there. Put on the most heaviest thing for like my workout, and I might put on something a little bit more relaxed. And also put on a folk tune because I do love my folk music, very much into my folk, and still very passionate about trying to write stuff for Avontel. Um, and just writing folk stuff in general because I've been trying to do a solo folk project for a while, something like all Junior Highland in that style. The other thing is, of course, people have seen my jackets. I love sewing. That's another thing I'm passionate about. Obviously collecting records. I love collecting records. And what else? What else? Films. I have three films here for you to show. Very passionate about my films. Of course, one of my favorite horror films of all time is The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, absolutely brilliant. Because watching films like this got me through some really shit times in my life, and watching this just made me forget that was even an outside world half of the time. But one of my favorite films ever to watch is The Thing. Another one, RoboCop. Not just into my horror, but I also love some sci-fi mixed with action here. Brilliant, brilliant film here. Just, just a excellent, excellent film. Came out in 1987. Brilliant, brilliant film. Just watching a film, and when I watch a certain film, it's like my passion's just gone all the way up. And yeah, gonna be definitely watching this the weekend. Just gonna chill out with a drink, be it a beer or just a soft drink, whichever. And I'm gonna put on RoboCop. And the other one is, 'cause I remember watching this as a kid with my dad and my brother, and I've seen the original of this, and I love the original from 1933, but this is the 1976 version of King Kong, starring Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange in a debut feature-length film, and Charles Gordon, who, of course, a lot from the Beethoven films, but he was also the Doctor in Rosemary's Baby. But yeah, this was Jessica Lange's first ever film she did, and she did a decent job, I think. She got harsh criticism for it, so didn't do films for like the first few years, and then made a boom back in the 80s. But yeah, definitely a film that I love. A lot of people might think, nah, not a fan of it, not my thing. But some people are like, nah, I love this film. It's Rick Baker in a gorilla suit. Rick Baker as King Kong. I don't think a lot of people knew that. I know he made the suit and he did some of the effects, but I don't think a lot of people knew that he got into the gorilla suit to play King Kong. So absolutely amazing job. And I am blanking on his name, but he voiced Optimus Prime in Transformers. He did the growls for King Kong, not the roars, just the growling and noises. And apparently, it almost damaged his throat. So yeah, brilliant, brilliant film. The sequel to this, not so good, is a it's so bad it's good kind of way. But this is definitely a film that I'm very passionate about because for a long time didn't watch it and I watched it again and it's like, yeah, brilliant. 1976. This very passionate about my films. Um, Also passionate about reading. I used to do a lot of reading, and of course, one of my favorite books is Swedish Death Metal. Absolutely love this book. Just read one chapter per evening, and then went back to another chapter, and then just kept reading. Just excellent, excellent book right here. See if I can try and get some pictures of some. So I just caught my hair. So there's a few like here with like some shows and demos and stuff. Yeah, there's one of Merciless and Entombed, and of course, show with Death and Pestilence right there, and Loud Blast and Paradise Lost Autopsy. But man, what a read this is. If you're looking for a good read, this is definitely for you if you are very passionate about Swedish death metal, such as myself. Love it. Love this book. Definitely gonna just gonna keep this out and give it another read again because it's just it's just very interesting to learn about the history of the Swedish metal scene from going from punk to heavy metal to thrash, speed, and then you got doom, and then you got just getting to the death metal side, and there's a little bit of black metal. I think some black metal bands get mentioned, but it's primarily focusing on death metal, and it is one hell of a excellent, excellent, excellent read. Definitely this book right here. Love the artwork as well. And I also got the compilation CD as well. So it's a mixture of songs from albums and EPs and demos. A lot of them, of course, don't exist and didn't get around to making an album, but it's good to hear that demo stuff. Um, right. Last question, and it's a long one. So sort of splitting that here. So first part of that is, how did you find out about my channel? And is there anyone in the VC you would like me to collaborate with? Because I've already collaborated with my friend Chris of Crush Sounds. So is there anyone there that you would like me to collaborate with that you think, yeah, like collaborate with someone on my Metal Vault series? Because like I said, I've had Chris on there for the Metallica episode. Yeah. So is anyone that you think that I would fit with perfectly for an episode of that or on a live stream? Let me know. And going back to the first part of that question, how did you find out about my channel? Was it someone, again, within the VC? Was it a friend of yours who checked me out and said, go check out Jake's Metal Chat? He knows what he's talking about. Or did you just find me just by pure chance? Either way, it can be, like I said, it can be from someone that knows me from the metal YouTube community or someone that knows me personally that recommended me, like I see at gigs, or you found me by just pure chance, or you might have, or sometimes it happens, someone might you might overhear someone talking about certain YouTube channels and stuff. So yeah, just however you found out, it'd be good to hear how have you found out about my channel, and just to add on to that, which video was it that you saw? So that is the questions that you need to answer in order to win these 3 CDs and a gift voucher from, well, a voucher from Black City Records. And yeah, that's it. Thank you again for all the support. It means a lot. And do all the usual stuff, like, share, subscribe. Be sure to, if you are entering, to tag me in your video in order for you to enter. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of you entering. So thank you once again. Been Jacob Jake's Metal Chat. Keep the banner of metal wearing truly high. And I'll see you all in the next one. And I'm looking forward to a lot of your responses. Take care.